I had a really bad experience just trying to fit back into school limits. And it was just really weird. It was really weird. The vibes had changed. The friend groups had changed. I was no longer like super close with the popular kids anymore. And so it was just different. And then I started becoming friends with this one girl, and we were super close. We were extremely close. I consider her like my sister. Then seventh grade summer hit, and I just felt like I couldn't go in that phase of trying to grow up too fast, because once I had let go of that other friend group, I started clicking in back to reality by the seventh grade summer. I was like, I gotta get my grades up. I gotta get on top of, because in my school, most schools actually have like summer reading. I had summer reading. I was like, I gotta do all my summer reading. I have to just do things that are fun. And me and this girl were through it all. However, she grew up very fast, in my opinion. Everyone's opinion of growing up fast is different. For me, I could not stay on her level of how fast she was going with the pace of things. But I was like, but I want to be like her so bad. I wanted to look like her. I wanted to talk like her. Like, I was like, I want to be like her. That was a big problem for me, is that with friendships, a lot of the time I wanted to be like them. And it was this type of, honestly, probably envy. Like, why can't I look like you? Why can't I get guys the way you get guys? Why can't I talk like you? Why can't I have the stable family? Because remember, my parents got divorced in first grade. And so seeing everybody have like a stable family was like also another thing that I just never talked about, though. I was like, everybody has their home they go to. They have meals every night, every dinner. Families all together. I'm like, okay, well, I have a great family. They're just not together. Like, you guys, and I used to use it to my advantage too. I used to be like, well, I get 2 Christmases. You don't. Like, and I just kept trying to fit into all these standards. And for her, we never really talked about it, but I guess we both could tell, because in some way, shape, or form, we kind of wanted to be like each other. And it was really bad for our friendship, but in the sense of we were taking things from each other that probably weren't the best for another. Um, and for her, it was like she wanted to be as smart as me, and she wanted to be as respectful as me and certain things. And for me, I was like, I want to be as beautiful as you, all these different things that we wanted to be like each other. And it just created this kind of envy in our friendship. And then eighth grade came, and everything just shifted. And I really just got hit with the wavelength of like, wow, you cannot be like this in your life. This is not where you're mentally able to handle it. I was doing pretty good with my mental health during the first part of eighth grade. And then the end of it came, and I was just like, I can't do it, because that girl, she got expelled, and it took over my emotional state. And I was just trying to handle how fast everything was moving. And it was a lot. It was a lot for me to take in, especially because you get told these certain things. You get told all throughout your life what you're supposed to look like as a teen, what you're supposed to be doing, what your grades are supposed to look like, what colleges you need to prepare to go to, what high school's going to look like, how high school's going to be your best years of your life, how all these years you need to be prepared for. You need to be prepared for everything. Yet I wasn't prepared. Like, I was not prepared, and I wasn't okay with not being prepared. I needed to be prepared. I was like, I have to be prepared. What else am I going to do with my life if I'm not prepared? And it was scary to feel unprepared. It was really scary to feel like I had nobody to talk to about it, especially because nobody really understood that I felt unprepared. Everybody else knew what they wanted to do. And I always knew I wanted to be an actress, but I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't see a lot of people come from this school being an actress. And that wasn't a bad thing. It was just that, well, if I can't look at somebody else doing it, how am I supposed to do it? And then by the end of eighth grade, I was like, I can't handle it anymore. I need to move. I need to do homeschool. And I switched to homeschool. And it was probably the best decision I made, because I finally got to just focus on school without having to look at different type of aspects of friend groups and cliques and trying to match somebody else's energy. However, I still went through the phase. I still went to parties all throughout ninth grade. I still tried to fit in. And in 10th grade, I was like, girl, like, you did this to literally pursue your career and you're not even pursuing your career. And I kind of felt like now I'm holding myself back. Life's not holding me back. I'm holding myself back. I'm choosing not to do what I wanted to do. So then I was like, you need to start pursuing what you need to do. And I will say, out of all of it, acting is really what helped keep me sane. And I started pursuing it, and it's been great for me. But throughout it all, it's like I still look at it and I look behind at everything I left, in the sense of some things that I left are the same way I left them. Some friend groups that I left are the same way. Some mean girl groups that I left are the same way. Some things never change, and some things change only because you try to change them. And it was hard for me to learn that like I can't expect life to change on its own. Certain things you need to change, and it could be just yourself. And certain things you need to allow life to progress and change itself. Certain things are just going to happen on its own naturally, and that's okay. Certain things you're just not always going to be in control of, and I hated not being in control. I was always like a control freak. I wanted to be in control of everything. It was my way or no way at all. Like, it had to be my way. But I never looked at it as like, well, if it's not my way, what's the worst that's going to happen? What if it's just a way of life? And for me, I looked at it, obviously it's like I believe in God, so I looked at it as like, this is just God's way of life. And it helped me a lot become at peace with just the fact that that's okay, to be okay with where you're at. Today, I'm okay with the fact that I didn't do much this whole weekend, but that's okay. I did things that I love, and that's what makes every day worth living to me. And it was really hard. I felt like these days weren't worth living to me in 7th grade. I was like, this isn't worth going through. It's not worth going through the pain. But a lot of that pain I was setting up for myself. A lot of those expectations I was setting up for myself. I just kept having this high, this pedestal. And as we grow each year, it's like the pedestal gets higher and higher and higher, and it like never stops. Like this never ending pedestal that just keeps getting higher. And I just never thought that, I don't know, I envisioned it like I could step on that pedestal and then it could grow as I grow. I keep growing, and then the pedestal grows too. It doesn't grow while you're just still there. You're still going to be there. It's like the pedestal is your expectations of life, as far as like you being on top of the pedestal is what you make of your life. And I love making what my life is today. I love the people I surround myself with today. One thing I do with myself today is I call almost all my friends my best friend, because I don't think that I usually categorize my friends. There's a difference between acquaintances and friends. My friends are considered like my best friends because the ones have stuck through it with me. And the ones that have seen me at my worst, the ones that constantly pick me up, the ones that just give me positive vibes no matter what, I am going to always be there for them, and they're going to always be there for me. And I consider those like my sisters and my brothers.